All right. So guys, let's begin. So last lecture we had discussed about Java 8 features. We just started with that. And the first feature that we had discussed about was default keyword. Then after that we discussed about functional interfaces. And now we are going to talk about the third one, lambdas expression. Okay. So a quick recap. What is default keyword all about? Using this keyword, you can develop complete methods in an interface. So this feature was provided in version 8 of Java. So any version 8 and above, you can use default keyword. Second thing is, if you're using functional interface, then there is a strict rule. There should be only one incomplete method present in it. Now the third one, we are going to look at lambdas expressions in Java. Now what does this mean? See, using lambdas expression, we can reduce the number of lines of code in your program. Meaning, whatever you are doing it, let's say in 10 lines of Java code, if I use lambdas expression, probably same thing I can do it in 1 or 2 lines of Java code. Which means reducing the number of lines of your program, we will achieve that using lambdas expression. This is the advantage. But again, you cannot use lambdas expression wherever you want. There is a restriction. If you are using lambdas expression, strictly it has to be applied on functional interfaces. So you cannot use lambdas expression everywhere in Java. It has to be functional interface, and on that we will apply lambdas expression. Second, you will learn stream API concepts later. Okay, during that time also I'll be talking about lambdas expression, but for now it was introduced in Java 8. Remember this point number 1. Point number 2, it reduces the number of lines of Java code. That is point number 2. Point number 3, it works with functional interfaces. It has a restricted usage. You cannot use this wherever you want to. But sir, how does this work? Let's understand this clearly now. In order to understand lambda's expression, how it works, firstly you should know what is functional programming. So Java 8 version, they introduced functional programming, which was not there earlier to Java 8. Fine. Now what is functional programming is, you just say what you want and not how it is done step by step. Example, many times your mom might ask you, what will you eat for dinner? This is something very common. Even they would be bored of preparing the same food every day. So they'll ask, tell me what will you eat? Now you will just tell your mom what you want, and you're not bothered about how is it prepared step by step. You just place an order, right? Even if you go to an hotel, you'll just place an order, yes or no. I want, let's say, paneer manchuri. Now what you want, you have told them. Now how it is done step by step, I'm not bothered about it. That is their job. So functional programming, the main principle is, you will just tell what you want, and how it is done step by step, I'm not bothered about it. Okay, so it is more like you're placing an order. Once the order is placed, how that food has been prepared, what are the steps followed, I'm least bothered about that. Did you understand what am I telling you? So let's take one example now. How does this work? So firstly, I'm going to create one functional interface. So here I will annotate this with @functional interface. Now in this functional interface, let's remove this annotation, apply here a class and delete this. Fine. Now if you want to implement this functional interface, what will you do? What are the standard steps? Right here, implements keyword. These are the standard steps, no? Implements A. then you will override and build that method. Then this will print some value. Then you will create a main method. Then what you will do? B1 is equal to new B, and then B1 dot test. That's it. Save all. Save all. And now when you right click and do a run as Java application, observe it prints 100. Are you understanding, everyone? So this is the traditional step. Now if I use lambda's expression, I will not write all these code. Observe what I will do now. Firstly, whatever interface name is there, I'm going to write down. First understand the steps, then I'll teach you how it works internally. I'm using interface name. Give your reference variable one name. This is interface reference variable. Now here you notice public void and test. So this test has no arguments. So I'm just going to write here parenthesis, because parenthesis, it means I'm referring to a method inside the functional interface that has 0 arguments. Then I will use one minus and greater symbol and just put a curly braces. And this will automatically take care of inheriting the incomplete method, overriding the method, completing that method body, and in that method body I'm putting what? 100. See the steps what I did? I just wrote parenthesis, lambda's expression, this hyphen, greater symbol is a lambda's expression, curly braces. And this will take care of everything. Inheriting, overriding of incomplete method, and in that method automatically the logic 100 is returned, and then you call that method using a1.test, and this works. Sir, how is this working? I did not understand. So let's now see this with clarity. I have this code here. Which one? This one. Now how does this work? Let's understand that here with an example now. So firstly, when you're using lambda's expression, what is happening? When I use that parenthesis, hyphen, greater symbol, curly braces and a semicolon, when I use that syntax, what's happening? The first step that will happen here is it will create one anonymous class for us. Anonymous class means a class without any name. Moment I'm using this syntax, lambda's expression, what it will do is automatically behind the scene one class is created which has no name. A class without any name is called as anonymous class. This class has a name. It is called as class B. So this is not an anonymous class. But if you look at this class structure, there is no class name given here. Such classes are called as anonymous class. Did you understand now? So now when I use lambda's expression, automatically one anonymous class will get created. Then the next step that will happen is, once this anonymous class is created, then the lambda's expression creates an object and loads the method by implementing inside that. Now what does it mean? In this anonymous class now, automatically that method is inherited. We are overriding that method, and in that method we are going to print SOP of 100. SOP of what? So when you're writing this simple line of code, see what is happening behind the scene. The step one, it creates one anonymous class. This incomplete method is being implemented inside that class. Then automatically for this class, one object is created, and inside that object now, this method is being implemented, and then that object's address is returned back to A1, which I'm not doing it. I just use the lambda's expression to tell implement this method, what you want. Now how is it done? This all happens in the background automatically. Again I'm repeating, what happens when I use the syntax of lambda's expression is, when I use this syntax of lambda's expression, what is going to happen here is automatically one anonymous class will get created. Automatically, one anonymous class will get created. In that anonymous class, this method is inherited and this method will get completed, which I am not doing it. This is all happening automatically. And in that method, there is this SOP of 100 is being kept. Then finally, for this anonymous class, one object is created. And inside that object now, this method that got completed will get loaded into it. And finally, that object's address is given to A1. Hence, you use object's address dot test1. It will now, when you use A1 dot test1, it will go to that object of anonymous class, and in that you are accessing non-static method test1, which will print what? And I'm not doing any of these steps, because whenever you're using lambda's expression, it is a type of functional programming, meaning you're just telling what you want and you're not defining it how it is done step by step. You just said, I want to access this complete method. What do you want? I want to now implement, override this method, implement this method, and call that. You just said what I want. Now, how is it done step by step? This is all happening in the background automatically. Did you understand this step? See, everybody, this is slightly a tough concept, not an easy one. So, please tell me, are you clear with this part, students? Did you understand the first part, what's happening here? So, when I write this syntax, there are certain steps that is being taken care of in the background. Everyone, are you able to follow this now? Yes, everyone. See, what this particular concept of lambda's expression does is, listen carefully. I have a functional interface. Now, what I'm going to do when I implement this functional interface, what is happening? Now, this method I want to implement, Mohammed. So, lambda's expression always use functional interface. See, Prabhat, we will use stream API later. Now, if you ask me, it will work with stream API also. Stream API also internally uses functional interface only. So exclusively designed to work with functional interfaces only. Yes. But when we say it works with stream API is a further concept that I will teach you. But that also internally uses functional interface only. Observe here now. Now, observe here. If you want to implement this method with lambda's expression, what will you do now? You will write A1 is equal to parenthesis. Right? Then you're using here lambda's expression, and in that now you're printing something and terminating this. Just by writing this one line, how is that possible? I'm able to use A1 and call that method. How is this happening? That's a question. I did not use your implements keyword. I did not override the method. Right? I did not do any of these things. Just this one line. How is it possible that this one line performs implements, overriding, object creation, and calling of that method? How is it possible? That is the question. Did you understand the question now? Whatever I was doing traditionally, class B implements A, override the test method, create an object of B, and then call. How is it possible that without even me doing that, just this one line, okay, just this one line is automatically taking care of completing method, creating object, storing that method in the object, and calling it? How is this happening? So this way of writing the program is called as functional programming. Functional programming, it means you define what you want. You're just defining here what you want. You want using A1 to now access this method. Correct? What do you want? You define that. But now internally, automatically, what it will do is whenever you're using lambda's expression, internally what will happen, one anonymous class will get created. Internally, one anonymous class will get created. Are you understanding what am I telling you? Anonymous classes are the one that does not have any name. It is the class but without any name. So automatically one class is created, and in that class this method is loaded, public void test1, and this method is completed, which means automatically class created, automatically in that class method is implemented, then for that class object is getting created. This is all happening with this one syntax. When I just use this one syntax, this all is happening. Anonymous class created, method created, then for that the object is created, and in that object we are putting this non-static method, and then that object's address has been given to what? A1. So all of these things is happening automatically by using this one simple lambda's expression. Now when you use A1, it will go to the object, dot, enter the object and access test1. So if you now read the definition, is this clear? Please tell me. So what it does, what your lambda's expression does? How many methods do we create? That's what I said. You cannot apply lambda's expression on whatever you want. Lambda's expression is applicable only on functional interface, and functional interface can have only, so you cannot have more than one incomplete method. But yes, complete methods you can have, which we will see further. Incomplete method has to be only because lambda's expression works only with functional interface. So read this first line again. Now, so what it does, then lambda's expression creates an object and loads the method by implementing inside. Are you understanding now? That incomplete method is being implemented. That means it is completed. That incomplete method is completed by adding a method body and loaded into the object. And that object's reference is then used to call the implemented method present inside the object. Did you understand this now? Once again, we'll see the syntax. Observe, we will just write a1 equals, see the method, it has 0 arguments, so just write parenthesis, lambda's expression, curly braces, terminate with a semicolon, and now what are the things will happen in the background? Anonymous class, inside that method implemented, object created, method loaded into that object, and then you are calling that particular object address. Is this clear? Now let's proceed further. Sir, what if now I had a method with an argument? Then the way we write our lambda's expression here would vary. A1 is equal to parenthesis int x. Did you understand why? Because this method has one, so now you have to mention this, and then you're using lambda's expression, curly braces, terminate with a semicolon, syso print x. So tell me, when I use this part of the code, what are the 3 steps that will happen behind the scene? Creates one anonymous class, in that this method is implemented, object created, and the implemented method is loaded into that, and object's address comes here. I did not do any of those things. It is all happening behind the scenes step by step. I just defined what needs to be done here. An object's address should come to A1, using which I will call that method A1.test 500. And now when you run this, run as Java application, observe, we got the output as what? 500. Did you understand second example, all of you? Yes. So suppose if I write here int x comma string y, then what I have to do here? I have to write here string y, and now you're going to supply a string value Mike, and then you're going to print here y, and then right click, run as Java application. So this is reducing number of lines of code. Have you observed? No implements keyword, no overriding of method, no object creation. Everything has been reduced. That's why I said it reduces number of lines of code. But what is the problem here? Lambda's expression results in difficulty to debug your project code. We already have seen debugging, right? So when it comes to debugging, you cannot debug. You cannot debug, okay, your project code here. Debugging will fail here because everything is happening internally. See, if my code is there written line by line, I can debug and understand that. But I'm just writing here things what needs to be done. Now, how is it happening internally? If you want to check, we will not be able to debug that here effectively. You cannot debug this logic, how this is working. So debugging becomes difficult when you're using lambda's expression. But suppose I don't do this, then debugging is easy. Suppose I implement, override a method, create object, then I can follow debugging steps. Yes or no? Now, if I right click and debug as, you see that I will not have any controls here properly to debug, right? To debug. So let's go back here. Which line am I at now? Did we start this in debug mode? Still starting. So it's here now. Now you notice I'm selecting this whole part, right? So you notice now nothing I'll be able to debug here now. If you just do step over, it just went to the next line, but I don't know what is happening here. So if I build some complex logic here, you might not be able to debug that. You see that directly from this line, it has gone here. Yeah, it has gone there. And now when you do step over, see directly it printed the output. I'm not even able to understand what is happening at these steps. So this will make your debugging complex. So whenever you want to debug, don't use lambda's expression. Switch to the normal way of coding. And when debugging is done, then switch to lambda's expression wherever possible. But for debugging, better avoid lambda's expression. Did you understand the drawback of it now? What is the drawback? You cannot debug this. If you just try to have a look at it, see, it's just giving me some object created and object's address is already present in A1. Can you see that? Yeah. Directly object's address stored in what? A1. But how this object's address got stored, what happened, nothing I know. Now if I take this as an expression also, you see, if I go back here, put it, add as an expression, if I hit on enter, pending, right, you will not be able to see the controls to successfully work as expected. Yeah. So now do step over. See, from line 7 directly it's going to. Are we able to debug this part of the code? No, that is a drawback here. We'll take more examples now and we'll get familiar with it. That's why when you're working in projects, production level code, you go with lambda's expression because less number of lines of code, execution will be faster. But when you're debugging, better write the code step by step when you're doing logic building. Then once the logic is clear, then you try to reduce the number of lines wherever possible in your logic. Okay, now let's proceed further. Everyone got this part? Online students, is this clear? Can you please read these 3 points once again? Start from here. Yes, everyone. Now, how lambda's expression work? So lambda's expression is a type of Now what functional programming defines? You say what you, not how to do it step by step. That is what I did. I did not define how to override, how to create object, how to call. I did not do that. Correct? So how does this lambdas expression works? What is anonymous class? Then got it now? Then okay. Now let's proceed further. Here, what if the method return type, okay, is int? Then in that case, you need to understand here, since a method return type is int, when you're using lambdas expression, you will have to write return keyword inside it. Let's delete this. I don't require that now. Can you now see that? And terminate with a semicolon. Save the complete code. Did you understand this now? See, because the method return type is int, I'm not defining anything except directly return keyword. So when I call a1.test, what will it return? 100. So it is going to be int m is equal to, and m should now print the value 100. M should print the value what? 100. Observe this program. Mohammed, are you able to now understand? Okay. Now, whenever you're using lambda's expression, it should be a functional interface which has only one incomplete method. But however, you can define any number of complete methods like default void 2, and I'm going to print here 2. Now you see that automatically when anonymous class is created, this method will be implemented, and that anonymous class will have complete method also. So when the object of anonymous class is created, both of them in that object will be present. Object's address will come here. You can now use that object's address and directly call test2. So like this, any number of methods you can basically use with lambda's expression, provided they are what? Complete methods. Yeah, provided they are. So let's again call, let's make this as 3, and let's call a1 dot test 3. Let's save it, run, observe. Everyone, did you understand this part? Do you have any questions, queries here? Please do let me know. Yes, guys, everyone. Yeah, okay. Now we have taken several examples on it. Now, one of the very core concept, very favorite topic in interviews, stream API. Guaranteed questions you will get from this. But you cannot learn stream API now, because for that we have to cover collection concept, that is data structure concept in Java. Only once we cover that, you will now be able to after that learn stream API. And when you learn stream API, lambda's expression, functional interfaces. These concepts practically it will become strong for you and you will know how to use this actually. But at this moment, we cannot learn that. Okay, is this clear everyone? Now we have optional class which I will cover in my future lecture because that requires a concept of exceptions in Java. So there is a dependency. Okay, so that will be covered. But see, optional class is Java 8 feature. Stream API is a Java 8 feature. Functional interface is a Java 8 feature. Default keyword is a Java 8 feature and lambdas expression, right? But later we will be learning data structures, and before data structures, you will definitely focus on exceptions concept. Fine. Marker interface I've already talked about. What is marker interface? So for marker interface, just one empty interface we are creating here. Now I'm going to give you some assignment. Okay. I think this I have not given it to you. Have I given this assignment? So these three assignments, you will just go to my notes and type IIB. What you will type? There are three assignments. One for Friday, one for Saturday, and one for Sunday. Because tomorrow I'll not take the class. So I'm giving you this assignment. Reason there is some small function at home actually, evening. So that is the reason I will not be available in the evening. Is this clear? So you people will spend time doing this now. Assignment 3, assignment 4, assignment 5 is very important. Don't skip that. Instance initialization block, static initialization block, and super keyword. You have to finish this. Okay, is this clear guys everyone? I will again see you back on Monday. Sir, in Java 25 class is not in Java 25 class is not compulsory. What is that? Huh? Version. See, version will keep coming. But what happens, I'll tell you reality. Nobody in the industry till now, Java version 25, 24, 23, they are using it. Even today in industry, features of Java 8 is popular. Though Java 17 is required, still Java version 8 features only they're asking in interview. And that is being used in companies. However, our syllabus covers still 22 version. Our syllabus covers 22 version, but you will not see the version 22 features also being used in companies. They'll go very slow in terms of making the usage of that. Are you understanding? Now there's a lot of reasons behind that. There's a lot of reasons behind that. Compatibility, things like that. Projects are developed 8 years back. Today we are working on the same projects developed 8 years back, 5 years back. So 8 years, 5 years back they were using the earlier versions of Java. And now since a version of Java itself is old one, these features will not be supported there. Most of the projects will be the old projects started long back, and you will join the company to work on existing projects. Starting projects from scratch, very rare to get. Any person joining company, getting a new project, starting from scratch, if you get that, then you're very lucky. Because you're able to see everything from the beginning, how it is happening. But that is very, very difficult. Got it? In a batch, one or two people might get hired for a company where they're starting a new project. Otherwise, you will just be working on existing projects where upgradation of new features, modifying old features, fixing of defects, that is what you will be working on. That's it guys. Bye bye. Take care. I'll see you again the next class, that is on Monday. What are the three things I've given assignment? IIB, SIB, super keyword. See, people were telling take the class in the morning, staffs. But I feel not required. We are going at good speed. Correct? I think to go to level 2, 5,000 lines of Java notes we have to cover. we are left with only 1800 lines more, and I can shift to advanced Java, and with advanced Java we will learn again Java. Did you understand? So we will not cover whole Java now. I'll cover Java, start with web development, and again learn Java with web development. Then I'll again go further with Spring Boot Hibernate, again teach you Java, Stream API and things like that. So this will happen to be like that. Okay? So going at good speed. Concepts and syntaxes goes on deeper, sir. Yes, when you keep writing, the syntaxes is what you will get familiar with. And one day you will reach a state where whatever code you see, you will be able to see the code and understand what's happening here. The readability of the code will start. Keep debugging, keep learning. Okay, see you then.